Hi everyone, hope you're doing fine. So the reason why I'm making this video is so that I can explain the code related to Android and Kotlin, so that everyone can get involved, and all of us can be on the same page. Yeah. So the first thing is that you have to pull the repo, and so I've already pulled it. And when you see, you'll see these two files. But for that, what you have to do is you just have to write git pull, and then you can pull the repo, right? Then we have to wait. Yeah. Oh, so the thing is, I've already initialized my git file. You can either use git pull and then the whole repo, or yeah, you can either pull the whole repo or the link, or you can just use a GUI. For example, I'm using git blade. We can directly pull new repos from here, open repos, or in other words, we can clone a repo and then paste the link here, right? So this is where we paste the link, and then we'll just get it, and then this is how it's going to look like, right? So after it's done, you can see that oh, sorry. Yeah. Come on. Was it taking so long? Yeah. So as you can see, my repo is already up to date, because I've just recently pushed all of my changes. So I have it here. Then after that, I have to open my project in Android Studio, and this is the general format of the project, right? This is how it's going to look like. It's going to have app and Gradle scripts. So basically in our Gradle scripts, we have an application level Gradle script, right? This is really important. Here, the most important thing is we can define the minimum SDK version, which is basically API level 21, which means Android 5. I think it's called Android Lollipop. The current one is Android 10, which is, I don't know what it's called. And here we can add all of our external dependencies. Like these two are the most important parts of our Gradle file that we generally change, right? And after that we have manifests, and within manifests we have Android manifest.xml file. So this is where we specify everything related to our app. For example, here we define all of our permissions, the permissions that we the developers demand from the user. For example, right now I need internet access and network state, right? So that I can do API calls, post get requests, right? After that we set up all of these things. These are actually there by default. The things that I added were these activities, right? So before I get into activities, we need to know what these activities are. So whenever we see an Android app, let me just give you an example. I don't know, Google Play. Just bear with me for a while. Yeah. So we can take any app. I don't know, not games. Oh, these are all games. I just want an app. I don't know. Play Store, Facebook. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. So as we can see, where are the screenshots? Yeah. Okay, so that's nice. So these are the screenshots. Like all of these are actually defined within an activity. For example, this is an Android app, and within this app we're basically using a tab layout, right? And we have 1 2 3 4 we have, I don't know, 5 different tabs, and this is all of these tabs are basically defined within one activity, right? And within this activity we have different fragments. Like when we tap on these we have different fragments. But before I go into fragments, I'd like to explain a few things about activities, right? So generally this one whole view is known as an activity, and it's basically state based, right? This activity has different states. Like it has different methods which are called, let's say when the app is created, when the activity is created, when it's paused, when it's destroyed, when it's stopped, right? So this is known as the activity lifecycle of an Android app. Before we go into any development, we need to understand this activity lifecycle. A more detailed explanation about this can be found on the official website. I think it's here. I already opened it. Yeah, understanding the activity lifecycle. I would highly recommend it that you guys read through this. But the most important thing is this figure, right? Let me just zoom in a bit. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. So, as you can see, whenever we open an app, an activity pops up right in front of us, and when it does that, then this method is called the onCreate method, right? So basically I do all of my initializations within this onCreate method, and the rest you can use it as per your requirements. But this onCreate and onDestroy, these are like the most important methods. Coming back to the original manifest file, we have to define each activity that our app runs within the manifest file, right? Because this file has information about the whole app. And our main activity is this main activity. This is basically the splash screen, you know. When you open the app, you'll see a blank screen. So this is what it is, right? And within this activity, I have just set up a timer for, I don't know, like 1.5 seconds. And after that, it opens up the home activity, right? It's right here. So all of these activities, like the login activity, the register activity, the snap activity, excuse me, all of these are defined in the manifest file, right? So this is the basic hierarchy of the app. Now moving on, basically the Android Studio, I don't know, the Android architecture, I would say, it defines these files itself. For example, when you go to the file structure, it has this Java and then a name of your app, which is AI EPCON CAD4GOOD, right? So it will create these 3 subfolders, and within this CAD4GOOD, as you can see, this CAD4GOOD, it will define all of your Java or Kotlin files. So initially I created the project with Java, but all of these files are actually Kotlin. It doesn't matter, you can like create Java files or Kotlin files, whatever you want as per your preference. For example, our home activity is in Java, but the rest of them are in Kotlin. Doesn't matter, we can also convert this one in Kotlin. But the files that basically control the logic of the app are defined in the in this hierarchy, which is right here, right? Yeah. And we have layouts. So for layouts we have to go into resource, layouts, and we have XML files. So this is like similar to the HTML files and web development, right? So if I link this up with web development, these are all basically JavaScript files, you can say. But here, since the programming language is Kotlin, so all of these are Kotlin files, and these are in other words HTML files. But right now, since we're using XMLs, as XML is the standard format for layouts in Android, so we define our layouts with XML and we define our logic with Kotlin files. So each Kotlin file, let's say the home activity, this is linked with a layout file, right? So it has to be right here. Just give me a moment. Color, context. Here's the onCreate method. It's here. It has to be set content view. Where is it? There it is. Set content view r.layout.activity_home. So we have to find activity_home, and this is the layout, right, for our main home activity. And if you want to look at the home activity, you can like switch through these tabs, and you can see the home activity. We just have to wait till it loads. So yeah, right now it has absolutely nothing inside, right? But it basically, it has a toolbar, like a toolbar, um, and it has a pager. So this pager basically has a tab layout, right? So pager, when you like run the app, then you can see that we can switch through 3 different tabs. I have created those tabs dynamically. I'll get into the code, but right now I'm just explaining the whole hierarchy, right? So this is the basic flow of any Android app. This is something that any native Android app will have in common, right? And we can define our strings and values, strings.xml. So any static strings, let's say a route for the API can be defined here, so that we don't have to like browse through all of these files and search for each strings individually. In fact, we can just use these identifiers in our app, and then we can change those from strings.xml, right? So this is like one place to keep all of our strings that we will reuse again and again in all of our files, right? So I think that's about it for the general overview. Now I'd like to get into the code, but I'll just stop this video here so that it doesn't get too long.